CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. Usually about 3 pumps of that. And this shade is a little too dark for me, but I like it because and it does oxidize quite a bit. But I like this especially because the finish is so beautiful. Another thing that I've noticed, and even Jordan notices this with me, because we always get ready together when we go on these trips. Another thing that we've noticed is that the longer you spend on your foundation, the better you can make your skin look, the better your makeup is going to look. Skin, I think, for me personally, is the most important part about makeup, because if your skin looks really dry, or if it's really oily, or if your foundation looks cakey, everything else looks cakey too. But if you get your skin looking fresh and flawless, everything else pretty much falls into place. The only thing about this foundation is that because it does oxidize quite a bit, I do have to bring it all the way down my neck so that it doesn't have that line from face to neck. Now I'm going to move on to concealer. And for concealer, I'm going to use Tarte Shape Tape. Now, you see me holding 2. That's because I actually mix mine. If you get the lighter shades and then you get a deeper one, you can sort of make every range in between as far as shades just by using more or less of the deeper shade. Right now, this is the color Fair. I take a little bit of the Fair and I put it on the back of my hand. Then I take a bit of the shade Deep and I put it right next to it. And I just sort of custom mix my own medium shade. And you can see it just makes it the perfect shade, because I'm not trying to go too light in my under eyes. And there we go. And then I just take that and apply it to my under eyes. And the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge is my everything. And then I just get really close to my mirror and really pack it on. And as you can see, that shade really looks nice. It looks like the right concealer shade for me. It's not too light, where it's giving me that highlighted bright white cast that just looks so weird and fake. I also bring this up on my eyelid because I like to prime my eyelids with concealer before I do my eyeshadow. And I don't know why it's so good. It just is so good. And it is the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. It just is so good. It makes everything look better. I just kind of shake it, get a bunch of it in the cap, and then I dip my beauty blender into it, pack a bunch of it onto my sponge, and then make sure there's no creases in your eye, under eye, or eyelid. And I pack it on my under eyes. Now this is essentially baking, but I don't really wipe the powder away. So you'll see, like I press it in and I get it all over. Make sure that it's really pressing into your skin. Make sure there's no creases, and I set my eyelids as well. So I take and I really heavily set my eye area because I don't want that moving at all. I want to make sure that my under eyes and everything stays perfect all day long. Then I take the translucent powder, dip into that, and then I go gently over the rest of my face. And I use it on this other than a brush because I just feel like it doesn't move around the other product. So I set my smile line areas. I set all along here where I'm going to be putting my powder products. Maybe up on my ears because them shits are getting shiny. You can see I'm not baking where I'm gonna remove any of this. I'm just pressing it into the skin. And then in the center of my face, I really pack it on as well. And then sort of blend out to the outer edges. When your makeup starts to get oily, it just starts to gently seep through the powder and foundation into a really beautiful way. It doesn't make you look oily, it just makes you start to look fresh and dewy. Right now, I'm gonna move on to brows, then I would do eyes, and then I would finish the rest of my face. And the reason I do that for me personally is because the other products that I just put on are gonna melt into the skin. They're gonna become one with my skin. And then by the time I get to the other steps, everything is fully set, fully dry, and there's no risk of anything sticking or getting patchy. The two that I've been loving are the Precisely My Brow and the Gimme Brow. If you want a natural, feathery brow that looks soft and beautiful and very realistic, then these are the products that you're gonna want. You could probably dupe this out with the NYX Micro Brow Pencil if you're looking for a drugstore version of these that doesn't break the bank. But these especially, I just love them. The color is so good, and I'll show you. So essentially, this is what I've been doing lately. I've just been kind of starting right in the middle and gently doing little hair stroke motions And when I get to the end, I just sort of extend my brow out a bit, and then the tail is always a little bit darker. That's just the way that I tend to do it. Then I just sort of feather in this pencil, and it uses such a minuscule amount of product, but you can see even just the tiny little bit that I just did, it just looks like a completely different eyebrow. I could leave it right there if I wanted to, but I do sort of take it into the front of the brow a little bit, and then I start to draw little hair strokes up right here. That's pretty much the brow I like to do, and sometimes I'll fill in the bottom a little bit more just so it's nice and defined. That is the brow that I want. Now it's not completely finished. I'm gonna use the Gimme brow, and that just brings this all to life. Okay, so that's pretty much the brows, and then I'm gonna take the Benefit Gimme brow. Up close, it looks like this, and it's just a tinted brow gel on a really small little brush. And I like to run it through my brow hairs, and it really just defines each individual hair. Pretty much it for the brow. You can see just the difference that it added, just a little bit more tint, and you can see each individual hair just a little bit better. So now I'll move on to my eyes, and this is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette. Frankly, it just has everything I need in a palette to travel with. If I don't want to do warm browns, it does have neutral colors in here. It does also have a plethora of warm browns. It has amazing shimmers. It has pops of color if I need them. It's just honestly become my staple palette. It's become the thing that I can get almost any look I want to out of this. Another product I always bring with me when I'm traveling is the Vitamona Color Switch. Essentially, you rub your brush in this like this, and it removes the color from your brush, so you don't have to wash your brush in between each color. It's called the Vitamona Color Switch. Usually when I first start off with this palette, I start off with this color here, which is Silk Cream. I use that on my little Sigma E40 tapered blending brush. If I want something really striking and really beautiful for an event, this is what I go for. So I just sort of windshield wiper motion that back in and out of the crease. Then I switch brushes over to the Smith 230. This is one of my new favorite blending brushes ever. It's just such a good tapered blending brush. And now I'm gonna go deeper into the crease. So you get that good gradation. And then if it doesn't look blended, I sort of dip into the transition-y shades, and I just sort of, like for me, this area does not look blended. So I just sort of lightly dip and then just keep buffing. Then I tend to go in with these shades here on the bottom. So the one that I'm drawn to right now is to go in with this shade, which is the color Buns. And I'm gonna go a little deeper into that crease. A little further down. Sometimes if you feel like it's not blending enough, you can dip into your translucent powder and just kind of go over the edges, and that can help sort of mesh it all in together. And usually I go on with this shade, which is the color Mocha. Now I'm just sort of going and mostly focusing this on the outer V. And usually this is where I stop for an event, and then I go in with shimmer. I usually for this palette have been using this color, which is Queen. I take my brush, which right now I'm using the Sigma concealer brush, and spraying my brush with Fix Plus, and then I dip into that shade. Sort of take it halfway. I love those half cut creases because they're so much easier. You don't have to go all the way to the outer corner. Sort of stop right here in the center, and then by that time you have less product on the brush anyway, and you can kind of tap off the excess. I know it seems kind of basic, but that's what I do for the eyes on the top. Then I just sort of take a mixture of those two deeper shades and I run them along the bottom lash line. One product I always bring with me, and you can see is nearly gone, is the Makeup Geek Full Spectrum Eyeliner Pencil in the color Obsidian. It's just a really good, deep black, very jet black eyeliner. Sometimes I use the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the color Dark Brown, because if I really want like just brown on my eyes and not black, then I'll go in with that. I line my upper and lower waterline. You can see what a difference that makes. It does make the eyes look a little closed, and this is the point in my makeup where You can see I have a little bit of fallout on my cheeks, but I didn't brush away any of the powder, so there is still a fine layer of Laura Mercier underneath my eyes, and I just sort of brush away, make sure any fallout is gone, and you're good to go. I'm not particularly in love with any one mascara. Right now I'm going to use the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara because it's what's in front of me, but a lot of times I use the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black. It's just really black and really good. I'm putting lashes on, so it doesn't really matter. Usually I put the lashes on first and then I put some mascara on. Right now I'm going to do mascara first because I forgot to wait. So my ultimate favorite lashes, this used to have a bow on it, but it fell off. So these are the Kim Tai Lionhearted lashes. These are all I've been wearing recently. I kid you not, I don't know if I will ever love another pair of lashes. They are so big and beautiful. They make every eye look you do look 10 times better. If you struggle with your eyeshadow, if you are having a hard time making your eyeshadow blend well, if your eyeliner looks kind of jacked up, throw on some lashes. The bigger, the better. They hide everything. So my favorite lashes are the Kim Tai and Cake Face Beauty Lionhearted lashes. Glue wise, Duo lash adhesive in the dark tone. So I put the glue on the lash and I let it get tacky. I'd say for about a solid minute I let it sit there. So typically bronzer, contour, highlight products that I bring my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I bring my new Makeup Forever Artist Face Colors, and this is the little palette that I've made that I really like. These are some Tarte blushes and Makeup Geek blushes and colors that I would typically use. So I'm gonna go in with these two shades here, and lately I've been just using my Smith Cosmetics 112 brush, sort of mixing these two shades together and kind of bronzing up the face a bit. I try to be really light with my applications so that nothing looks too heavy. And I'm trying to do like realistically what I do for every time I get ready for an event or for anything where I need to look ultra put together. I sort of run it up along my hairline. Very gentle. And then if I want to take a little blush, this is sort of honestly like the best color blush for me. I can see if I can pop these out and look at the colors of them. The blush color in here is B302. Darker bronzer shade is S116. And the lighter bronzer shade is S112. But I use that same brush and go in with that blush shade, tap off the excess and just do a little bit on the back of my cheeks. I don't go too much and I don't bring it too far forward. And now for highlighting. So lately, my favorite highlighter has actually been the Pretty Vulgar Cosmetics one. It's just so beautiful. I've actually taken this traveling with me twice since then. And so I go in with the Sigma High Cheekbone Highlighter brush. I dip into a little bit of that, really gently go on the high points of my cheekbones with that. Such a pretty highlighter. God, it's so good. I sort of go in a little C-shape pattern. I also take it up here on my forehead, right above my brow bone, on the tip of my nose, and on the bridge right here. Cupid's bow. I highlight my chin, not everybody does, but I like it. And then if you want to go in with a different highlighter that's not so white, like this one's very white, I never travel or leave home without my OFRAxNikkie Tutorials Everglow highlight. And I'll take these two shades mixed usually, but I'll usually just go in with this gold shade and just gently kind of pat that over. If I want it to be a little less stark and bright and I want it to be just more like a golden highlight. And right now my favorite lip combo has been changing a little bit, but I really love for events to do MAC Whirl Lip Liner with the NYX Sandstorm color and then a little bit of gloss. Right now I've been going for a matte lip, so I'm going to actually do what I've been doing and going in with the NYX Lip Liner in the shade Mauve. See? I overline my lips quite a bit. But if you go in with a lip liner that's very close to your natural lip color and you overline, it makes your lips look so naturally big. Alright, and so once I got my lip line down, then I take the shade Beige Babe from Maybelline. It's actually a really good color for me right now. And I go over the top of that, which nudes it out quite a bit, but then it starts to look really good, I promise. And then I go in Mochalicious by Wet n Wild, and I kind of run that over the center. Alright, and this is the finished makeup look. This is my go-to holy grail products, what I use every time I want to look as best as possible, how I do my makeup, how I do my lips, how I set my base. This is foolproof. This honestly lasts me hours. If I were to wear this right now, I would honestly be able to wear this for at least 12 hours and have it still look really, really good, maybe even longer.